I'm feeling low.
Hey everybody, hope you're well, and it's James here for the Part-Time Entrepreneur and Crypto Rookies. And today we're going to have a look at the SAPIEN ICO Review. If you've been loving the channel, then please hit the like and comment button. Now before we start, I always put this at the end. I thought I'd put it at the beginning for a change. Obviously we've got Crypto Rookies, which is the new brand I've co-founded with my fellow friend Dan. And that's really just to help new people get started. A lot of technical analysis will be going on the Crypto Rookies Twitter page if you want to check out previous calls, stuff recently like Litecoin and all the rest of it, and then obviously my personal group, which is PT Cryptocurrency, and also my at @JamesBull_UK Twitter, so you can just see what I'm up to, make sure I ain't getting into trouble and stuff. You know how it goes in this crypto world. So what are SAPIEN trying to do? Well, the first thing is they're a decentralized social news platform. So you're probably thinking, well, what is that? Well, we're all nosy buggers, and we know this. We live boring lives and we want to know what about everyone else is doing. And this is why social media is so big. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but that's the truth. This is why these particular things are incredibly popular. The other one is that you'd be rewarded for content. So this is anything new, but it's something that is really getting some traction in the cryptocurrency space, where you pay to look at ads. If you create something, then you get rewarded for it. Where at the moment, a lot of people create a lot of content on Facebook and they get absolutely no reward for it. And Facebook just take your details, they take all your data, they sell it, they take all your content, and they use that to gain more people on board. So therefore, they have more people to advertise to. So they're really sort of using us in a sense, but giving us a service that we want to use to get that. But with these guys, obviously it's very, very different. You get rewarded for that. You can also buy physical goods. So technically, even though this is a rewarding currency as such, you can actually buy physical things. So really it's got two levels of what it will be able to do. So one will be sort of rewarding creators, and the other actually being able to physically spend it as well. And also there's something I want to talk about, is the equal opportunity versus Steam It. So I'm on Steam It as it is, and personally I don't rate it. Never have, but I've gone on it because if you're not on certain social medias, it's like Twitter. I got on Twitter maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it's only recently I've started using it. It was just because everybody else was on it, so you get on it, don't you? And if you were in early on Steam It, thumbs up, you're doing well. And if you weren't, I mean, I get very few people looking at my content. Yeah, if I put it on YouTube, I get thousands of views. So for me, again, it doesn't have the traffic. It doesn't have, really that content should be getting a lot more views, and it doesn't. So, but it's really because my posts aren't upvoted, because I don't have lots of Steam It tokens and all the rest of it. So, these guys are trying to reverse that process. It wouldn't be one of my presentations if we didn't have some statistics in it. So the first one is obviously the social media users worldwide. I mean, that is just going from strength to strength, and that's really based on the accessibility to technology, and also people having many different accounts, and also wanting to stay in touch with people as well. It's just been made so much easier, better internet connection, better Wi-Fi in places, Wi-Fi in more places. There's so many things that are attributing to this. Also, the number of digital buyers worldwide is increasing, so more and more we are turning to the internet. Hence why things like INS Grocery was one of my big picks as well, because it's just what we're doing. We're time poor, we want to order things online and it turn up. You probably can't tell, but behind the scenes here I have some new lighting. Bought it online, within 2 days it's here, and it's made my job this end in terms of editing this video afterwards a lot easier. So I rarely go to the shops and buy anything anymore. It's all digital and it's all social media. And I don't think we're going to see this trend go away in the short term. So that really gives this project longevity in the future. So just a few key points before we carry on. So when this platform goes live, obviously they're in the beta version now, is that there'll be incentive for new users on the platform. So when you're going to be joining this platform, there's going to be incentives for people to join, and obviously they get the tokens as well. So there's going to be a lot of energy around this project when it launches, because if you're in early, then it's thumbs up there. You must register with Telegram to invest. So just want to call that out at the beginning, because it wasn't as straightforward as some of the other ICOs I've recently invested in. So just want to call that out. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to just make sure that you go through the process. It took me a little bit of time to figure out. The other one is they have a very detailed 52-page white paper. Now, this is just a summary. It doesn't go into everything, and I do advise that you do read the white paper because there is some interesting stuff in there. Also, the founder members, they have to vest their tokens for 24 months. They can't sell them, they can't do anything, so you're not going to get this huge dump of tokens. So that shows me that they believe in this project, which is good because you want to see people believe in it. And if I don't see projects holding their coins for at least 2 to 3 years, that's a very big tick in the box to start off with. So how does a token work? What is it? All the rest of it. So you have two options. You can either use the token on the platform or you can stake the coin. So the best way I can describe this, if you've got a Neon wallet and you've got your Neo, you put your Neo in your wallet, and obviously it helps drive the network and you get small rewards for doing that. And you have to do it for 1 year. That's the big thing there. But I think that's quite a good thing because also what it'll do is it will take a lot of tokens out of circulation. Therefore, there'll be more demand for the token. It'll also give you voting rights, which is cool. So you can get involved and vote on things. Obviously, buying goods. So really technically acting like a bit of a currency as well. So let's talk about the competitors. Now, you may not know, but there's been over 2,500 ICOs in the last 12 months. So there's a lot of people coming into the market and a lot of people trying to do similar things and trying to outdo each other and all the rest of it. Now, I think Sapien, looking at it just initially, there are some really good upsides with this project. However, they need to be sharp and they need to be flowing with the market just because someone will try and outdo them in the next 6 to 12 months as well. So as long as they are open-minded in terms of the platform, I think they've got a really good chance. Again, if they get as big as Steam It, there'll be a $2 token. Kin, there'll be a 44-cent token. Scenario, that'll be going backwards, so we'll just forget them. They're not even in play. But Steam It is the really big one here. My issue with Steam It is I have an account on there and just there's no upvotes. It's good quality content, and unless you were in the early days, so if you look at the top sort of 250 wallets, most of the tokens are owned by the developers and also their friends. So that doesn't bode well in terms of the investment portfolio and who's holding the tokens. So it seems a little bit of a boys club. I'm not really into these clicky group things. I mean, doesn't impress me, and I'm not really interested in them. Where Sapien, it's going to be a level playing field, and that's what I like about this project. That's one of the things that really stood out. And really, everybody will have a fair chance to sort of get involved and be part of the ecosystem on a fair playing field. But these are just some of the key numbers. Obviously, as always, it's not financial advice or anything like that. It's just a little bit of maths just to figure out, okay, what could this potentially be? Now, if we have a look at some of the marketing, I looked at some early numbers. They're starting to make some progress, which is good. 19,000 in the Telegram group, which is for me is about a medium. Twitter 6,500. Probably need a few more, and Facebook. But this is just some basic promotion stuff. But it says that there is an audience. It's not massive, but there is an appetite for this project. So if we have a look at the timelines, one of the key things for me is that they don't outline exactly when it's going to launch properly. That I'm sure that will come through their social media and some updates. But as you can see, there's each quarter they seem very focused on a particular task or action that they need to do. And as we see throughout 2018, they're incentivizing effects, putting it onto DAP, ramping up the marketing. They're doing a lot of things. So acquiring 10,000 new users a month. I mean, that's going to be quite hefty, and that's going to take quite a bit of marketing. So it'd be interesting to see what does that look like really. Now we've got the team here. Now I went through on LinkedIn and all the rest of it, trying to understand what these guys are up to. The biggest thing that came through was just a lack of experience. Now there are a couple of people within the team, and we'll talk about some advisors in a minute. Now one of the things that I'm hot on is people that jump around through jobs. Now we've got Ankit, which he seems like a very intelligent guy from what I've seen. If we just head over to LinkedIn, as we can see, he's a very highly educated guy. He's done a lot of voluntary experience, which is good. You know, I do a lot of additional things outside of my sort of what I do here, and also what I do at work, just to get more experience. So I think that's always a good thing, and not everybody does that. And as we sort of flick through his CV, there is a 2-year gap where obviously he's doing some intern roles. He's obviously gone back to university. But then the thing that sticks out for me, he's got 4 months experience there at Dell. Then he goes to Intel, or a subsidiary of, 4 months experience there. And then straight into the co-founder of SAPIEN. Now, not to say this guy isn't incredibly intelligent, not to say he's incredibly competent, but there is definitely a lack of experience here in terms of other bits and pieces. Now, it doesn't really explain what other stuff he does behind closed doors, not like that. But you know what I mean. So for me, I look at these things, and you know, when I looked at the Centra, one of the big things I pulled out there was that the jumping around on the CV. And again, we've seen what those guys did. Not saying that this guy will, but it's one of those things that just stick out for me. You know, you can't always take a book by its cover, and also, you know, the amount of stories that you hear in terms of, you know, it's not always about the resources that you have, it's about how resourceful you can be. So you don't always need the A team to be able to become, you know, amazing. You know, you had the guys from Napster, Sean Fanning, who pretty much in his bedroom revolutionized the music industry. So, you know, but I like to keep a close eye on these things. But the majority of the time, if people have solid CVs and solid teams, solid experience, then there's generally no hiccups in the project. So these guys have got a great advisory team in Latif Nathani, who is the CEO of eBay India. So again, okay, that's a bit of a heavyweight. That may compensate for some of the lack of experience, and in a lot of these projects, they need to bring in the big guns just to help guide them through. The other guy that stood out was Adnan Javid. He's got IT, comms experience, you know, worked for Ericsson, Nokia. He's also advised on Zcash and Etherlane. So there's some experience in the background that may compensate for what these guys don't currently have themselves. But that would be my only critique of the team at this moment in time. So let's talk about the actual ICO itself. So the token is going to be called SPN. There's going to be a hard cap of 225 million. Obviously, ETH is the payment. Total tokens will be 500 million. So that's quite nice to see, because I'm seeing so many at 1 billion at the moment. So that gives us a bit of a head start in terms of, you know, the token, and also the fact that some will be staked. Obviously ERC20, so it can go in your MyEther wallet. Pre-ICO dates, obviously finishes February the 15th, and the public sale starts March 3rd to April. So again, very long project in terms of over the next year, so you need some patience with this. But those are the key details you need if you wanted to invest. So this is a copy of their white paper. It's incredibly detailed. It's over 50 pages long. There's also some key data in here which is worth having a look at. I know it's one of the first things I look at, because I want to understand, you know, how big's the marketplace, what percentage could they potentially take of that. Then that gives me some numbers then to work on, to work out what is the potential value of that company. They also have the details on their token sale, which is pretty good. At the moment they're at 20%, yet the pre-sales here says 25%, so there's just a little bit of a mismatch there. So I mentioned that these guys were super mathematicians, and they've implied something called Metcalfe's law into the whole ecosystem. So basically that means, you know, when a social media project is nascent, which all that means is that it's new, you know, you have issues that sometimes with that there are fewer users, and they're using Metcalfe's law to be able to overcome this in the short term. And then again, this is where some of the key incentives will jump in, and this will be why it'll be a really good thing, one, to get in on the ICO, but also secondly to be early onto the platform as well. And again, if you want to know this in more detail, then please do read the white paper. So what do I see as the cons? Well, the first one is that there's already a whole bunch of key competitors out there, and really the biggest one is Steemit. This is the one, you know, potentially need to worry about. However, they do have the cutting edge on them, but it's one of those where if everybody's already on it, how do you get them across to the new platform? I think they've got quite a junior team, It's great to see that they've got some other experience coming in, which should be good because it will help coach, mentor, and bring these guys really up to speed in terms of the bigger business picture. I don't think they've got a loyal following as yet. I don't think there's a big community around this. It's not to say that they won't, it's just not there yet. I think that might, that's going to come with time, I think. They made the ICO process slightly more complex. So I am a seasoned investor in ICOs, and I was just like, hang on a minute, what's going on? I've got to go on Telegram, and then Telegram's got to authorize it. Why? Didn't really understand it, didn't really get it. If I'm honest, it wasn't really that bothered. You're probably guessing already, I've already invested in this one. But yeah, it was just slightly more complex, but I had to go through the process. And the other thing is they just don't have a product yet. However, that's in the wings, and I don't think we're going to have to wait hopefully too much longer before we get to see something. So what are the key things that I see? Well, first of all, you've got the 1% transaction fee, which is pretty cool. So it's nice and low. But if you've got $20 staked of these coins, then you're going to get that transaction for free. So that's pretty cool. But because of that, people are going to want to buy. They're also going to want to stake. So that means they're taking tokens out of circulation. And by staking, you start to create an even bigger demand. So that might even drive the price even higher. So there's a couple of dynamics working there. It has currency properties where, like the Steam It dollar and stuff like that, you can't go and buy goods with it. However, they're trying to cross promote this. It feels as one as a bit of a utility token and also a currency. I don't know how that plays out in terms of actually being a security and stuff. We'll just have to see. The other one is that there is a max 20% discount. Now, I've seen 25% in the white paper, yet when I bought online, it was 20%. So I don't like to see ICOs giving away their tokens at 50% and all this business. 30 to 20 is the max that I like to see, and then for that gets a tick in the box. And also they're going to be stopping fake news, really trying to work on the quality of the content out there, and it's going to be a little bit like mining, isn't it, that where people will have to vote and say, is this real, is it not, and all the rest of it. But again, so overall I give this project a 7.1 out of 10, so a fairly decent score. I've currently already invested. I've not gone heavy into this one. It's still very junior project, but I do think it's got potential. Hence why I've gone into a low medium position on this one. If you haven't already checked it out, then please head over to Crypto Rookies. There we have an exclusive giveaway every single month. This month we're giving away $5,000 worth of cryo tokens. So come along, head over. There's courses, there's tools, there's my 2018 strategy where I'm going to go from $250,000 to $5 million this year. You want to find out how I'm going to do it? Then you head over to Crypto Rookies. Now, as always, guys, just want to say a massive thank you for following, and I will hope to see you on the next video.